everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Hollyoaks has revealed how Grace Black and D.I. Banks will cover up their criminal operation after several characters grow suspicious next week. Grace has just discovered that undercover Copper Dodger may be working with Maxine to bring down their gang, after Maxine went to the police about Robbie's kidnapping. With Grace having decided to kill Maxine, Rex bundled her into a van, and it remains to be seen how this hugely dramatic plot will play out. But next week, Grace is distracted by her friend-turned-enemy Mercedes, and corrupt officer D.I. Banks urges her to focus on Frankie and Dylan, who they are currently exploiting. With no money left in the bank and a worrying drug addiction, the two teens have reached a new low and are finding things difficult. Darren reaches out to Donnie and Misbah out of concern for his daughter, and is horrified to learn that they knew Dylan had previously struggled with spice vapes. There's a tense standoff in the village, explains our Hollyoaks insider. Darren is furious that Donnie knew about Dylan's drug problems, and the two men blame each other for what has unfolded. Misbah is forced to step in, making them realize who is important in this situation: their children. Misbah takes action herself and tries to talk to her nephew in Qasim McQueen. When Dylan's card is declined, ex-Lucas steps in to pay, and also offers to cook him a meal himself. Could a reunion be on the cards for the popular couple? Meanwhile, Rex convinces Frankie to speak to her dad, and Grace observes their candid chat, where Darren opens up about his late pal Luke's addiction, while Frankie explains that she is still haunted by JJ's abuse. Darren and Nancy later clash in Price Slice, but they are united in their concern about Frankie, who seems to have gone missing. Grace overhears and tries to calm their worries. But Donnie is starting to have his own questions about the case, and realizing that someone from inside the force has to be involved, he gets suspicious about D.I. Banks. It really feels like Donnie is getting close to the truth, explains our source, and D.I. Banks is forced to intervene to stop him cracking the case. So he suggests another local dealer for his colleague to investigate, hoping that this will throw him off the scent. As D.I. Banks continues to cover his tracks, Grace invites Nancy for a drink in the loft, in an attempt to stop the Osborns looking for Frankie. Just what has happened to Frankie, and are Grace and D.I. Banks any closer to being exposed? Hollyoaks is about to uncover a shocking new chapter in the village's web of secrets as Grace Black finds herself at the center of a sinister and morally repugnant cover-up that threatens to destroy lives and tear families apart. In upcoming scenes, viewers will be drawn deeper into Grace's latest scheme, a carefully orchestrated plot rooted in manipulation, greed, and the exploitation of some of the village's most vulnerable residents. What begins as a shady business deal slowly morphs into a full-blown scandal, as layers are peeled back to reveal just how far Grace has gone to protect herself, all while others unknowingly suffer the consequences. The storyline kicks into high gear when an anonymous tip leads Leela Lomax to a disused building on the outskirts of the village. Her instincts as a mother and protector kick in when she hears muffled cries from inside. What she finds there leaves her shaken to the core, several young girls, frightened and disoriented, clearly being held against their will. The walls are bare, the windows boarded up, and the atmosphere thick with fear. Leela calls emergency services, but when she returns to the building with PC Hunter and DSO Anderson, the place is empty. The girls are gone. It's as though they vanished into thin air. And that's when the real panic sets in. Leela starts digging and begins to suspect that what she stumbled upon wasn't an isolated incident but part of something much bigger. Her concern intensifies when she remembers a brief conversation with Grace just a few days earlier, offhand remarks that now sound disturbingly sinister in hindsight. She recalls Grace bragging about a new business venture, a safe space project supposedly meant to help troubled teens. But something didn't sit right with Leela then, and now her suspicions spiral. At the same time, Grace is seen making late-night phone calls, arranging secret meetings, and growing increasingly paranoid. She tells her right-hand man Warren Fox that someone's snooping and that loose ends need to be tied up. Warren, loyal but wary, pushes back. He's willing to rough someone up, but not cover up something he doesn't fully understand. Grace snaps, warning him that if they go down, they both go down. Warren starts keeping his own secrets, unsure of what Grace has truly gotten them into. Meanwhile, Romeo Nightingale begins noticing strange behavior from Donna Marie Quinn. She's twitchy, anxious, constantly looking over her shoulder. Romeo finds a burner phone hidden in her room and confronts her, only to discover that Donna Marie has been blackmailed into helping Grace. Grace promised to fund Donna Marie's rehab center, but only if she agreed to quietly rehome certain at-risk teens away from the village, teens Grace handpicked under the guise of offering them protection. In truth, Grace had been funneling them into an illicit trafficking ring run by an old associate from her time in prison. The scale of the operation is staggering, and Donna Marie is racked with guilt. Romeo is horrified. He begs her to go to the police, but Donna Marie is terrified. If she talks, the traffickers will come for Juliet's memory, for James, for everyone. Romeo promises to protect her, but before they can act, Donna Marie is hit by a car in a suspicious hit and run outside the dog. She survives, but she's left in a coma, silencing the one person who knew everything. Word of the incident spreads fast, and Grace pretends to be shocked and sympathetic. But when Romeo confronts her in private, her mask slips. She warns him to keep quiet, reminding him that she still holds power over his family. Romeo is shaken but refuses to back down. He turns to Mercedes McQueen for help, knowing her own criminal past might make her the perfect ally in a war against Grace. Mercedes agrees to help, but her motivations aren't purely noble. She sees an opportunity to finally take Grace down and regain her own status in the village. They begin quietly gathering evidence, planting listening devices in Grace's flat, tracking her movements, and hacking into her financial records. What they find is worse than they imagined. Grace has been laundering money through fake charities, using front businesses to cover the movements of exploited teens, and bribing officials to look the other way. And she's not working alone. Her partner is revealed to be a former social worker named Dean Whitmore, who vanished from the system years ago and now runs the trafficking ring from abroad. Grace and Dean's connection runs deep. They were lovers once, bonded by their shared ruthlessness. Dean reaches out via encrypted messages, warning Grace that the operation is compromised and that it's time to disappear. Grace begins making arrangements to flee, but she's unaware that Mercedes and Romeo are watching her every move. With Zoe and Hunter now involved in the covert investigation, the net tightens around Grace. But Grace isn't one to go down without a fight. In a final act of desperation, she kidnaps Romeo, locking him in the same abandoned building Leela discovered weeks ago. She plans to torch it, destroying the last physical evidence and silencing Romeo for good. But Warren finds out and intervenes. The guilt has eaten away at him. He arrives just in time, fights Grace off, and rescues Romeo. As the building burns behind them, Grace escapes into the night. In the aftermath, Leela, Zoe, and Hunter piece together the full scope of the exploitation scheme. Warren turns himself in, offering to testify against Grace in exchange for leniency. Romeo is hailed a hero for risking everything to expose the truth. Donna Marie awakens from her coma and breaks down in tears when she learns what happened, relieved that Grace is finally outed, but haunted by her own complicity. Mercedes, meanwhile, uses her part in the bust to rebuild her reputation and re-establish herself as the queen of the village. But the victory is bittersweet. Lies have been shattered, and the community is left reeling. As the villagers gather to honor the survivors, a shadow looms. Grace is still out there, and she's already planning her next move. In a final cliffhanger, she's seen boarding a ferry under a false name, a new passport in her hand, and a cruel smile on her lips. Hollyoaks has delivered yet another harrowing and socially relevant storyline, blending high-stakes drama with heart-wrenching emotion and a stark look at the dark underbelly of power and exploitation. Grace's sinister scheme may be over, for now. But her legacy of manipulation will haunt the village for a long time to come. And as always in Hollyoaks, just when you think the worst is over, another twist waits around the corner. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Hollyoaks Update YouTube channel for more update news.